Wagwan, Wagwan. Welcome to the DIY Yardie channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. In this video today, I'm actually doing a assembly of the NordicTrack T6.5 S thread mill, and this is what it looks like in the box. These are the parts all out of the box, and those are the screws, some of the tools, washers that comes with the installation instruction, and this is the base of the thread mill itself. Okay, so I'm getting started from step 1, 2, 3, and 4 where I am right now. So this is the Allen key that's provided in the set. You'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, an adjustable wrench. That's what they suggest, but I used actually the 9/16 socket, half-inch socket, 3/8 drive short extension, and 3/8 ratchet. Okay, all these tools are 3/8 drive, by the way. So first you'll start with this is the right upright, and there's that it's like a little kind of wire that they thread through there, and basically that helps you to get this wire routed through the right upright. Okay, so we're on step number 3 here that we're doing, getting this inserted into the upright, the right upright. Okay, so as you push, you'll pull until you get that all the way through there. And the next you want to do is remove the screw, and you're not going to reuse the screw. Actually, there's one provided in the materials. Alright, I'm going to show you that in a second. So what you want to do first of all though is get this screw out of here. Just get it out of the way. You're not going to reuse the screw at all. Okay, so this screw here, you'll take that screw, put it in this position, and tighten it down. And this is a Phillips head screwdriver that I'm using. I'm actually using my drill because basically it helps me to work faster. But if you don't have a drill, you can use your regular Phillips head screwdriver. Okay, so you get that locked in there. Then the next thing you're going to do is bolt this right upright to the thread mill, the base of the thread mill. Okay, so it's actually 4 screws. The two longest hex head screws from the tools provided with a washer. Okay, you're going to use 2 of these long ones for up here, and then you're going to use 2 of the medium length X head screws, and I'll show you those in a second. And these are the 14 millimeter X head screws that I'm using here. Okay, so for this one, there's one here and there's one towards the front of the upright. These are the screws that go in that location. And you also, you put washers on these screws, and the washers are provided in the set. Okay, so I'm getting these tightened down. So there, like I said, there are these 2 to the top, which are the long ones, and then this one on the side, and then there's one to the front of the upright, which I'll show you in a second. So this one here, right, or this is actually the back of the upright, the other one is in the front. Okay, so getting these tightened down. Alright, so now we're moving to the left side upright, and you can see everything is labeled. Okay, same procedure. The two long bolts go on top, long bolts with washers go on top. Same setup as the right side. Okay, and these, you remember I said the longest bolts go on top, then the next I'll say medium medium-sized bolts, go to the bottom and get those tightened down. And they will not suggest, but the tools that they recommend you use the adjustable wrench, and you can use that if that is the only tool you have. But like I said, I have the tools at my disposal, so I use what I have to make the job go much faster. But if all you have is an adjustable wrench, that's fine. It'll just take you a little more time to maneuver and get these bolts tightened down. Okay, so now we're moving to step 5. Those are the base covers. We'll get those on. So basically you're just sliding these over the upright. Okay, that's just to cover the screws that or the bolts we just installed. Okay, go to the right side, and you see this the string that I used to pull the electrical cord through. I've kept it in place just in case that cord falls back down inside the upright. You can still have that cord to retrieve it. Okay, so leave that cord in place until I'll get to that time when I remove that cord. Okay, so now we're moving on to the handrails, which is step 6. So I'm starting, I'll go my right handrail, and these are the screws we're using for the handrail, and there are also washers provided for each of these screws. Okay, you will know which washer, what washer fits with what screw. Because the sizing of it, basically, it'll only fit over a certain size screw. All right, so I'm using the Allen key provided in the set to tighten this down. And you're using your hand, so you're gonna tighten it as tight as you can get it with your hand. Hand tighten. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the left handrail. Same thing, the same screw with a washer, and tightening it down. Alright, so we got both of those in place. Now this here is part of the base cover. It's actually step 16, but I'm doing it right now just to get it out of the way. Get this area completed. Why they put it at 16, I don't know, because we're really not going to do anything else in this area. So I just went ahead and got that out the way right now. Okay, so I did the right, and this is the left. And basically, you're just going to line that up, push it in place until everything, locks in place. All right, make sure it's locked evenly on both sides. That's it. All right. So this is step 8. Well, actually step 7 and then step 8. Step 7 is removing this. It's like a bar, the lower bar for the handle. There are 2 screws, one on each side. You're basically just removing those screws to get this lower part of the handle removed, and you're going to discard of those screws. You won't need them anymore. They were just there to hold this part in place. So what you have to do is there are 2 screws on each side of the handrail. You're going to remove those screws, which you won't use. You're going to discard of these screws also. Take those out, both left side and right side. Going to remove those, and these are the screws provided for that position, which these screws are a bit longer than the ones that were in this position before, so the ones that were in there would not be able to to secure this handrail in this position. Alright, so I'm going to get these screws in place, both on the left side and the right. and these are Phillips head screws, so you get those tightened down. Both on the left and the right. So this is step 8 I'm doing here. Alright, once we get that tightened down, then we're going to go ahead and get the console in place, which is step 9. So for the console, what I'm actually going to do is, actually these are the screws for the console. Okay, you can tell they have that little blue paint on there. That's actually Loctite to keep the screws from backing out once you tighten down on them. Okay, so what I did here is I'm going to get the screws started on the right side. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing it this way is the ground, this little green wire, has to be connected. Okay, so you want to make sure that's connected and plugged together firmly. Okay, make sure it's in good. Then you want to lay it in there, and you want to make sure that it's tucked out of the way of the screws or the screw hole there. Okay, so now you're going to go ahead and lay the console flat. Alright, then you can go ahead and tighten the screws that hold the console together. Alright, so we got the right and the left. We get these tightened down. And remember, everything is hand tightened. You don't need to put any extra pressure on these. Just tighten it as tight as you can get it by hand, and it should be good enough. All right, now we can go ahead and get the little string off of there, because this is where the console connects to this wire that we fished through the upright. Make sure that's plugged in and locked in place. Then you can remove the wire that you used to pull it through. Once I get this wire off of there, what I do is I took that and just tucked it up out of the way, up under there. Alright, so we got our console mounted. Next thing we're going to do is put the console together all the way down, and on the beneath or underneath the handle you're going to get these little screws that's provided in the set. Okay, all these little screws under here are going to be tightened up. Okay, so that's actually on the step 11. Okay, so it's actually 6 screws altogether. You get all of those screws in there. Alright, okay, once we got that done, now we're going on to number 12, step 12, which is the trays, the left and right tray. So each tray takes 2 of the same screws, that same size screws that went onto the handle, the lower handle. Okay, so I'll drop those in place, then I'm going to go around and catch the screws from underneath. So if you look from the underside of the console, you can see there's a hole there, and then there's another one here. Okay, so 2 on each side, sorry. So get these tightened, and these don't have to be super tight, just to hold the trays in place. Alright, you want to get the left and the right inserted. Goes up in that slot. Alright, so next we're going to step 13, and step 13 is this bar that goes across the center under the bottom, the center bottom of the thread mill, and it's a support for the strut, or yeah, I guess that's what you would call it, a strut. Make sure that the part with a screw is actually facing towards the front of the thread mill, not the back. Alright, so we're going to get two more of these little screws with the blue paint. Get those in place with washers. Alright, and the Allen key that's provided in the set, use those to tighten that down. Remember, you're using a screw and a washer here. Once we get those tightened down, that screw that's in there, you'll have to remove that screw. Remove that because that's what's actually holding the strut. Okay, so there's one here, one to the back, or this rear part, and one to the front. Okay, so with the strut, once we get that screw removed, that yellow part that you just saw has to be facing out. It's got like little footsteps on it. That has to be facing out, not towards the belt, but away from the belt. Alright, so we're on to step 14, and that's showing you this is the strut where it connects from the front to the back. Alright, so it's showing the fatter part of the strut pointing backwards and the skinnier part pointing forwards, and that little white tag that you see points towards the belt. Now I made a little bit of a mistake at this point. There's a plastic clip you see me pushing out here. Don't remove that plastic clip. You should try to install this strut with that plastic clip that actually holds the alignment of the strut. So if you remove the plastic clip, the alignment goes away, so it gives you a harder time to get the strut inside. Okay, if you left the plastic clip in place, it will actually push it through to the other side as you insert the bolt in position. Okay, but if you take it out before you go to do that, you can still get it in place, but it's going to give you a little more problem to get that bolt lined up. As you're going to see, it gave me a little bit of a problem, but it took me a little more time, but you can still get it in place. If the plastic clip was in there, I'll just be able to insert the screw and slide it right through, no problem. Okay, so that screw that's going on there now, that's I should say the nut. It's a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to use my 1/2 inch. If you don't have the 1/2 inch, the adjustable wrench is fine. I'm using my 1/2 inch to connect it. So this is the Allen key provided, and I'm using my 1/2 inch with my ratchet. So like I said, you can use the adjustable. I'm just using the tool that I have because it actually speeds up the process. So if you have these tools, you can use them. If not, the cheaper way to go, or you don't have to go out and buy these tools, you can just get an adjustable wrench. Alright. Alright, so I got it attached to the front the same way. Well, that's what it looks like once it's adjusted. Installed. So the front of the strut attaches to the front there. So what that strut is basically is so you can fold the thread mill up out of the way for storage. So if you depress that right here where the footstep or that little yellow area is, press on that and bring the thread mill down, you'll see it'll come down all by itself. Just gently lower itself so it won't fall to the ground. Alright, so that's pretty much it. That's the well, this is a safety feature that you would actually clip to your belt, and what this does is it'll shut the machine down. Let's say you're working out and you should slip and fall. Once you fall, it tugs that off of the machine and shuts the machine down. Alright, so it's a feature to protect you from hurting yourself. So this is step 16, which I said, we'd done earlier, so we covered that. Alright, so now the machine is all together. Step 17 is how to go about activating the machine, which you need a smartphone to do that part. Okay, this video doesn't cover the activation part of it. I was just showing how to assemble this thread mill. Okay, so good luck. The rest of it, it's you. This is a DIY Yardie. Bless up.